Shabbat Shalom, Stephen.
Shabbat Shalom. Remember my dinosaur book I was reading last week? I have another question.
Cool. I like dinosaur questions.
Well, actually, I have two questions.
Okay, great. What's the first one?
Last week, you said dinosaurs, like T-Rex, ate plants before the flood.
Yes.
But its teeth are so sharp.
Yes, they are. Lots of plant eaters have sharp teeth. Sharp teeth are helpful for tearing into the flesh of fruit. Look at this picture of a skull. What kind of animal do you think it is?
I don't know. A small meat-eating dinosaur. Look at its sharp teeth.
Actually, this is a skull of a fruit bat. It eats fruit.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yes, animals that eat plants can have sharp teeth. What was your second question?
When I look at my dinosaur book, I see different layers. Fossils of different animals are found in different layers. Does this mean they evolved over millions of years?
No, it doesn't mean that, but actually that's a very good question. This actually shows how they were buried by the floodwaters. Let's look. So in the different layers, we see animals that are buried in the lower layers are sea animals, a lot of small organisms that lived on the bottoms of the ocean floors. And then we see animals that were closer to the oceans, and then we see animals that were higher up. And then we see interesting fossil beds that are a combination of animals from the sea and animals on the land, and none of that really fits into an evolutionary model. See, the evolutionists say that it took millions and millions and millions of years and one animal kind changed into another, and they were buried by dirt, and then more dirt came on top and more animals came on top. But if you look at it from a position of the Bible and see the Great Flood, well, what happened is that the animals that were in the seas were buried first, and then the waves got closer and closer to the tallest mountains. And some of these waves were so strong that they carried the dirt up over the animals and buried them quickly, because that's how you make a fossil. You have to bury something quickly and cut off the oxygen, and then have the water flowing through that dirt to leave the minerals behind that fossilize the fossil. That's how fossils are made. And we know that when we see catastrophic events like this, then dirt layers settle out in their different types. And that's how we get the clean layers with no signs of erosion. If the evolutionary model were true, we would see erosion between layers, and we don't see that. But it does make sense that we see on the bottom levels the sea creatures and on the top levels the land animals, because that's how they were buried, and that is the order that the waters rose in. Let's take a look at some mountains. Do you see over here the layers in the mountains? Do you see how straight and smooth they are? Those were laid down by floodwaters. When floodwaters settle out, they settle into layers of different kinds of dirt. The evolutionary model says that mountains get bigger, that they grow. But actually what you see up here on these mountains is they're actually eroding. So you see down here, where's my layers? There's no erosion between layers, but then on the tops of the mountains you can see erosion. You can actually see a better view of it over on this side, I think. Hi, Rachel, with your sandwich. And over here, do you see how on the sides of the mountains, parts have fallen off and turned into rock and slid down? So that is an example of mountains eroding. climbed up here. All the way up here. It's kind of scary. So you see, Stephen, when people who believe God and people who don't believe God are looking at the same evidence, we see things very differently, don't we?
Yep, that's definitely true.
Yes. But when we see things from a biblical worldview, I think they make more sense. What do you think?
Definitely.
Do you have any more questions for us today?
Not right now, I don't.
Okay, well, we'll have one more lesson next week. Shabbat,
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.